Hello everyone, welcome back to Advantage Receiver. In today's video, we're going to discuss the Madrid Open. Now, a big name coming back to this tournament is Rafael Nadal. That's right, Rafael Nadal has not been seen since his injury and defeat in Indian Wells to Taylor Fritz. This will be his first tournament back since injury. Also, Novak Djokovic will be there and a lot of big time players. We have the bracket in front of us. Let's get into it right now. Again, a lot of names on this bracket. I'll go over who I think will be in the quarterfinals, talk about some notes about some of the players, and we'll see where we go from here. Obviously, a name that we want to talk about here going to this tournament is Dominic Thiem. Dominic Thiem is playing in Madrid. Can he get back to form the way he was playing a couple years ago when he won the Grand Slam in New York? We'll see what happens. He actually draws Andy Murray in the first round, so we'll see what happens with that matchup. That's a potential first round matchup to keep your eyes on. Is Dominic Thiem taking on Andy Murray? A couple of the matchups here. Casper Ruud is also in there. He's going to play potentially Borna Coric if Coric gets past Batista Agut. Now Casper Ruud, he was playing really well earlier in the year. He made the finals in Miami against Alcaraz. Was playing really well in that tournament, and then the clay court tournament just hit him. The clay court season just hit him, and he hasn't been the same. He hasn't played that well on the clay court side of things so far in the season. We'll see what happens in this tournament, but as far as his season has gone, it's been a roller coaster. He was up, and now he's going down. So we'll see what happens if he can do anything in this tournament in Madrid. Another note I want to mention, Jensen Brooks was supposed to play Taylor Fritz in round one. Fritz actually just withdrew with a leg injury, so Brooks will not play Taylor Fritz. Fritz is out of Madrid, so we'll see what happens with him going forward, see if he can get healthy for Roland Garros. He was playing really well. Like I said, he won Indian Wells. That was a big win for Fritz in his career. Now he's kind of suffered with a leg injury, so hopefully he gets back and better to playing the tennis we're used to seeing from him this year because he's been playing really, really well. So then let's kind of go into what I have in my quarterfinals with this tournament. I have Novak Djokovic. Yes, he played well in Serbia. Let's not kid ourselves. He played very well, but he's still not at that level yet to play top 5, top 10 players. Like he beat, players that he did to get to the final against Rublev, but Rublev's a top 5 player. He's been top 5 for a long time, playing consistent tennis, Rublev, and Djokovic was not up to the challenge of someone like Rublev right now. So can he build on that momentum going from Serbia to Madrid? Potentially. I mean, I have him potentially playing Alexander Davidovich Fokina, who played really well in Monte Carlo, making the final against Tsitsipas. He was playing really well on the clay. I like his chances here. Maybe he could still keep going. He could potentially play Djokovic in the quarters if things go his way. I do have Djokovic beating him, though, this time. But we'll see if Alexander Davidovich Fokina can keep the momentum going. I like what I saw from him in Monte Carlo. So he's in my quarterfinals opposite Djokovic. Moving down, I do have Nadal. I do have Nadal playing. And Nadal has a pretty favorable draw, although he could potentially draw Kecmanovic in the second round. That's a tough matchup. Kecmanovic was playing really, really well recently. So that could be a tough test for Rafa since he hasn't played since Indian Wells. But I do like Rafa to get through there and to the quarters. And he will play Carlos Alcaraz. And you see the thumbnail in this video. Is this Alcaraz's tournament to lose? I think it is. I think Alcaraz has been playing fantastic tennis this year. He's already won 2 big titles. He won in Miami, and then he just won in Barcelona recently. He's playing fantastic. I mean, he's shot up there. I think he's the second or third favorite behind either Nadal or Djokovic for the French Open. This kid is 18 years old, and he's already one of the favorites to win a Grand Slam. That's unprecedented. So I do like Alcaraz here in the quarterfinals. I do have him actually beating Nadal here. I think if Nadal were kept playing, if he didn't get hurt at Indian Wells, I would like Nadal's chances considering he's been playing this whole time. But Alcaraz has been playing so well. And I think Alcaraz's game is a little bit better at this point right now than Nadal's because Nadal's been out with injury. So I do like Alcaraz to come through that section to get to the semifinals in that one. We'll go back and discuss that too. My other quarterfinal in the bottom half, I do like Andre Rublev. I thought Andre Rublev looked really, really well to have the confidence and the game to beat Djokovic in his backyard in his home Grand Slam was really good for Rublev to do, especially bageling him 6-love in the third to win that tournament in Serbia. Good job by Rublev. I got what I've been seeing from him, and I think he's got a lot on his mind considering he's not able to play Wimbledon. That's not fair to him. We already talked about that, about the ban Wimbledon put on the Russian and Belarusian players. But I think Rublev's been playing really well. I like Rublev in this tournament, and I think he's going to do really well. He can potentially draw Tsitsipas in the quarters. Tsitsipas has been playing really well on the clay. You know, he made his only Grand Slam final last year against Djokovic of the French. He just won Monte Carlo, beating Djokovic in the final. He looked really well, especially looked really well in that semifinal against Zverev. He blew Zverev off the court. I do like Tsitsipas in that quarterfinal, but I do have Rublev beating him. I like Rublev. I like what I saw from Rublev in Serbia, so I do like Rublev to come through that section into the semifinals after beating Tsitsipas. On the bottom half, in the match we saw in Monte Carlo, Sinner and Zverev, a classic, a real good matchup. I did like Sinner in Monte Carlo when I picked it. I think I had Sinner getting to the final in Monte Carlo, and he lost to Zverev. So I do like Sinner actually this one. I think Sinner can get him on this one. It could be another tough battle between these two. But, you know, Sinner's been playing really well. I mean, obviously some hiccups earlier in the year with the foot blisters in Indian Wells and stuff like that for Sinner. But I think he's a really good player on the clay, and I think he might be able to get the better of Zverev in this one. And Alexander Zverev, you know, what can you say about Zverev? He hasn't had the best year. I think he wouldn't argue that. You know, he's had some good results a little bit, but he hasn't gotten past you know, in winning a title this year, especially. He just recently lost to Holger Rune in Germany. Holger Rune's a great player. I mean, he's got aspirations to be number one, and he's got the talent to do it. And we'll see what happens with him going forward. He's actually in the final against Botic van de Sandsloop in the final in Germany. So we'll see if he can win that one. But Zverev, he's just, I don't know what he's going on with Zverev. It's just something wrong with his game. Something's off with him. But he hasn't got the results I think he would expect from himself, especially going into the Grand Slam swing of things now, going towards the French Open. He would like to get some wins under his belt, maybe get some confidence before he goes to Paris. But right now, I don't know about him playing. I mean, he could potentially draw Sebastian Korda. Korda could beat him, but I do have Zverev in the quarters against Sinner, but I do have Sinner beating Zverev in the quarters. And then my semifinals is Djokovic and Alcaraz and Rublev and Sinner. And then just as I had in Monte Carlo, that was the quarterfinal everyone had, but obviously Djokovic lost his Vidovich and Alcaraz lost early in that one in Monte Carlo. So, but I do have Djokovic and Alcaraz in the semifinals in Madrid, and I do have Alcaraz winning. Like I said, I don't think Djokovic, if Djokovic wins, then look out in Paris. Djokovic will be a threat to win in Paris if he could defeat Alcaraz in Madrid, if they do end up playing each other. But I do like Alcaraz, like I said before. I don't think Djokovic is up to that test just yet to beat top 5 or top 10, and Alcaraz is number 9. He's only going higher from here in this tournament. I think Alcaraz's game is a little bit tougher right now, especially on the clay. I think he'll take out Djokovic in the semifinals, get to the final. And then as my Monte Carlo preview video, I had Sinner and Alcaraz in the final, and I'm not changing my vote. I still like Sinner over Rublev. I think Sinner's playing really well. I think he could take out Rublev in the semifinals, get to the final. And then I'm not getting off this train. I'm not getting off this bandwagon that Alcaraz train. Alcaraz is playing fantastic. I mean, what can you say about this kid? It's just winning in Barcelona, winning in Miami. I mean, he's taking over, and it's just the crowd loves him. I mean, we need someone to gravitate towards once Rafa, Roger, and Novak all are gone. And I think this is the player that people are looking at as the potential next great player in tennis. And I think it's showing right now. Winning these two big tournaments, winning in Miami, winning in Barcelona. He's a favorite to win the French Open, which is unprecedented for a kid his age. So I do like Alcaraz to win this tournament in Madrid. We'll see what happens. A lot of good potential matchups. You have Djokovic, Shapovalov, Nadal, Alcaraz, Rublev, Dimitrov. There's a lot of good names on it. Felix Auger-Aliassime. You know, a lot of good players in this tournament. So it should be a really good tournament. Potentially some great matchups. And we'll see who can get some momentum going before they head to Paris for the French Open. I'm excited for it. This should be really good. The women's side has been really good. Obviously, Iga Swiatek hasn't been playing because she was resting from injury, but I think she'll be back going towards the French Open. And yeah, it's been a fun time right now for the sport. It's heading towards the French Open. It always gets exciting for these tournaments. Madrid is a big one. Could it happen? Yes, it could. Could Nadal beat Alcaraz? Yes. Could we see Nadal and Djokovic play in Madrid? I think we could. I think people would love to see that. We'll see. Here's the thing also. If Djokovic and Nadal end up playing in the semifinals of Madrid and Djokovic beats him, all bets are off. Djokovic, I think, will be a favorite to win Roland Garros. Again, if he can beat Nadal and win this tournament. If he can win Madrid, Djokovic, I think, is back. I think he'll be back. And I think going to the French Open, he's a solid, probably number 1 favorite, maybe over Rafa if he can beat Rafa in Madrid. That being said, I know Rafa came off for an injury, but we'll see what happens in this tournament. A lot of potential good matchups. Looking forward to it. It should be a lot of fun. That's going to do it today, guys, for Advantage Receiver. If you like this video, give it a like. I really appreciate it. It helps out the channel so much. Let me know who you think is going to win. Do you like Alcaraz, Nadal, Djokovic, Tsitsipas? Let me know who you think's going to win Madrid. And as always, guys, thank you so much for watching Advantage Receiver, broadcasting tennis from the West Coast to every coast.